How do? Guess what? It's pickups. I've got things up here that I might record today, which aren't pickups. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's pickups. Just a few little bits. A couple of pre-orders that have come in. Bit of Evercade stuff. If you remember last time, there were no Evercade stuff. I think just the way I've recorded it, I kind of did it just before an Evercade drop last time, and then this time I've had two Evercade drops to make up for the none last time. So there's quite a bit of Evercade stuff. If you're not into Evercade stuff, I'm sorry. You had a couple of weeks off work, because we are getting too far into it. We can't go away at the minute because we've got a cat with medical things. So we've kind of treated this 2 weeks off work as a sort of our holiday, and sort of been out shopping a couple of times, bought what we want, and just enjoyed us 2 weeks. So I picked up a couple of bits because of that, and well, that's pretty much it really. Just a bit of Evercade pre-order, a bit of splashing out because it's holiday time. As always, I like to get the Evercade stuff out of the way first, just in case people don't like Evercade stuff. I want to get it out of the way. So yeah, two Evercade drops. First one, it's two arcade. Well, the first one's an arcade cart and a computer cart, and the second lot is just two arcade carts. Really into the arcade carts at the minute because I'm hoping to get a Evercade Alpha when the next stock drops. So I'm kind of saving up these arcade carts so I can blast a few on the cool little Evercade Alpha when it comes. I'm really, really excited about that. The first one was one that I've been really excited about, even though you can play these games on fucking everything nowadays. You could probably, if you try hard enough, you could probably play Neo Geo games in your kettle. But it's Neo Geo Arcade 1, the first of 3 proposed Neo Geo arcade packs. I love the Neo Geo arcade stuff. I always think it looks the nicest. It's got the greatest pixel art going. One of the ones coming up, it has Garou Mark of the Wolves on, which I already own at least twice. 3 times if you include on my arcade machine that I built. But I think that's less than legal, so, buying Pandora's boxes and stuff, so I don't count that as games I actually own, but, I know I've got it at least on the Switch and the Dreamcast, so, yeah, Garou Mark of the Wolves, it's not on this one, but it's in my opinion, the pinnacle of 2D, of how 2D fighters look. Like the pixel art ones at least. In terms of pixel art graphics, I think it's the most beautiful game pretty much ever made, and it's also my favourite SNK fighter, so I'm stoked to have that coming. But yeah, on this cartridge there is King of Fighters 2000, which is an incredible iteration of the King of Fighters as well. 2000 to 2001 kind of era were probably the peak in my opinion. I'm not a huge King of Fighters fan, so I can probably be argued down on that by someone who knows what they're talking about, but I can just remember having 2000 2001 on the PS2. I've still got it. I'm playing a lot of that and just thinking this can't get any better, and none of the other ones I've played have really matched up to that in my head. So yeah, King of Fighters 2000, Metal Slug, Shock Troopers, which I'm looking forward to playing, it's one I've never played, Magician Lord, Sengoku, which I played on my what are they called? Ambernic, not long back, and it's bad. And Ironclad. I've never played Magician Lord or Ironclad either. I think every one of those games, apart from Sengoku, which I've already played through, is got to get played through. I think it's just a really good compilation of, again, games that you can probably play on most things now, but it's still a really nice compilation. They seem to be putting one Metal Slug on each of these Neo Geo cartridges, so I really hope they get at least 5 of them because you don't want to be missing out on part of the series, do you? 6 if you're Metal Slug X as well. One thing I haven't looked at for myself yet, but I've literally just found out about it the other day. Apparently, for those who like inside box art, apparently these are double-sided. Yes, they are. Look at that. So we've got double-sided, just for the Neo Geo ones, black and gold box art, which Part of me wants to put it on, but part of me thinks maybe I'll get a little bit OCD about that with it on my shelf. It already bothers me with the special edition of Full Void being black in a sea of red. But we'll see. I might use that actually. Nothing in this. I don't know if there is in Roguecraft, but there's nothing extra really in this case. Sometimes I throw in little extras, which I like. If you're wondering where the cartridge is downstairs, where I keep all the cartridges that I want to play. Right, and the one that came with that was a Roguecraft DX, which is it's a single game cart. I think it's only the second time this has ever happened. It's an indie game for the Amiga from this year, which is kind of crazy. It says here Debug Indie Game Awards Best Retro Game of 2025. So it certainly looks great. I don't really know that much about it other than the original trailer from when the game was announced, but I think this is sort of like an exclusive part of this, which is like, it's like a part of the Amiga one, but like with, the graphics touched up, the sound touched up and stuff like that. It's a roguelite, which ordinarily would have scared me away, but I've been playing recently stuff like Dave the Diver, Cult of the Lamb. I'm sure there was a couple of other like roguelite type games I've been playing lately, which are probably for those who are into roguelites, they'll probably be scoffing at me right now saying that they're casual ones, but I do think that they've kind of pushed me on to sort of liking that kind of game, and I don't know, I'm excited to give that a try. We want to talk extras inside the box. We've got, there were no stickers, which is a shame because I've got a project on for all my stickers at the minute, and I kind of want that. But there was this cool poster. It's the same, it's double-sided, but it's the same picture both sides, and that'll be going up somewhere. I'm running out of space, but it's the same picture, but one side's got scan lines on, which, me, I'm not fussed about scan lines. So yeah, that's a pretty exciting game. I need to get into that before the year's out, see if it makes a dint on my sort of Game of the Year list, as soon as it did come out. I mean, I'd count it anyway because the Evercade version came out this year, but as soon as that game actually did come out this year, I want to make sure it's up there. The second pair of Evercade games that just came the other day, but I'm going to sort of talk about them at this point in the video because I just want to get all the Evercade stuff together, and that's we've got Tissot Arcade 1 and Tissot Arcade 2. Again, I can play these games mostly already on my Tissot Egret 2 Mini, and you can play these games freaking everywhere as well, but not least of which on the new Evercade Alpha that they've been bringing out, actually. The new one that's out in November, the Tissot centric one, which I didn't order because A, it's fugly, but B, because most of the games that are built into it are on these cartridges, so what's the point really? It's like, if you like that old Tissot style of arcade machine, fair enough, but to me it looks ugly as hell. But there's very little. I think the only game that's I can see that's on there, at least in a quick scan, was Puzzle Bobble or Bust a Move, which is a shame because I really love Puzzle Bobble, Bust a Move, and I would have loved to have played it handheld on these carts, but unfortunately it's not on the carts. They're probably assuming that people would get it get the system for that game actually. So yeah, it's one I'm going to miss out on. The one we've ordered is actually the Street Fighter one, which is great because obviously it sort of sits back to back with my Mortal Kombat arcade one up. But yeah, rambling. Games on these carts on Tissot Arcade 1, we've got Bubble Bobble, Chack and Pop, Colony 7, Don Dokudon, Growl, also known as Runark, it's a sort of eco-warrior beat-em-up, great game. Pirate Pete, Ray May, I have heard of it, I don't know much about it. Ray Mace, I don't know. Space Invaders and The Legend of Kage, or Legend of Cage, however you want to pronounce that. On the second one, we've got Alpine Ski, Elevator Action, Kiki Kai, Liquid Kids, Operation Wolf, Rastan, The Electric Yo-Yo, A New Zealand Story, and Volfied, or Volfeed. good lineups, but nothing that I haven't played enough already, if you get what I mean, to get me excited. Rastan I'm quite looking forward to, because I never really got into Rastan that much. I will probably play through Growl again because it's a fun game. It's like you start off and you're like eco warriors and you're killing poachers, and then by the end of it you're fighting alien shapeshifters. It just completely escalates. Strong carts, but like I said, I've played enough of the Tissot games to not really be that fussed about them anymore. So on to, we had a little trip out into town, which we don't do very often. Susie wanted to pick up a couple of bits from Primark. They had these traitors robes, like the sort of big like hooded blanket things that you can buy, but they had traitors ones of them, which were like the robes. I wanted one kind of as well, but they don't have sleeves on, which to me means, if they had sleeves on, I'd have definitely got one. But yeah, Susie wanted a traitor's robe, so she can sit on when I think Traitors Celebrities and Traitors Island are both starting up soon. Excited. And she's got one on to wear while watching it. We had sort of a walk around Marks and Spencer's, walk around, went to ask for a dinner, which was really nice. We nip into we wanted to go into Starbucks, but it was closed. And I had a quick look and see, because I'd hand-picked a few things to buy. First of which was a game that I don't really know much about. I'm not sure when I'll get to it, because it feels a bit bleak for me, and at the minute I'm wanting stuff to raise the old spirits as a nice drawing. But I learned about this game essentially through playing Dave the Diver, and one of the DLCs in that was themed on this game, and I kind of thought, well, maybe I want to pick that up, it sounds interesting. I'm looking for games at the minute which aren't just about punching and shooting people. I'm kind of a little bit bored of that, and this one, I like to say it's a fishing game, but get all your Bassmasters out of your head and everything. It's Dredge. It's like a Lovecraftian horror fishing game. I haven't played it yet. It just sounded sort of up my street a little bit. Not really up my street, but you know what I mean, like interesting. And I got this from CEX for a tenner. A little win. There's some DLC with it, and I tested out the code, and it had not been claimed yet. So I got it sort of as new, if you get what I mean. Because it also comes with a bunch of other stuff. I haven't got the code for the digital soundtrack yet, but it came with that. It comes with the code for the DLC, which I mentioned, which I have scratched off and already got. That's my receipt. Came with some cool stickers, which again, like I said, I'm looking for stickers at the minute. I'm into that. And a cool little mini poster. A very mini poster as well. You can tell it was made for the Switch version in mind with the way how it was folded. Nice little poster in there. Because my friend Max, like I said, likes his inside artwork. Mostly on the Switch, I think that's mostly what I was interested in, but there's some nice inside artwork on the PS5 version. See if I can get this out. I mean, it's nice in a very brown, bleak kind of way, but yeah, it's a cool, just a cool little thing in there. It's finding the time when my mood is right to play that game is going to be key, but I am looking forward to giving it a try. I picked that up for a tenner. This one was £4, I believe it was, just for the... I can't remember if I mentioned it, but I'm starting to collect the Turtles games on the Xbox. I think I have mentioned it, mainly because of the green cases. But I finished my Yakuza set, and I wanted a new set to collect. And I love Turtles. Just about to start reading through the IDW collection again, the comics. Even though I read through it to a point. I read through it till I caught up, and then I stopped reading. But I'm going to start reading it again from the beginning now, because I stopped reading about a year and 2 years ago. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting through that. I love Turtles. It's just always been one of my main sort of loves, like franchise. I loved franchises as a kid and everything. I never actually saw the Nickelodeon Turtles series on TV, because I think it was a bit young for me, but apparently I've been told it's really good. So yeah, it's the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games on the Xbox 360. Getting a bit of reflection there, aren't we? I don't think the game's supposed to be up to much, but it was only £4. It's in for the collection. One more scratched off. And this one cost This one was the sort of expensive one that I picked up. It was, I believe, 30 quid, but it's going up and up now. It sort of stopped, it kind of slowly depreciating in value, and now it's going up and up. Last time I checked on Amazon, it was 60 quid on Amazon. So yeah, for 30 quid I picked up Cadence of Hyrule. What is it? Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer featuring Legend of Zelda, officially the longest title of any game I own. Kind of a bit of a punt on this, actually. It's not, it's one that I thought maybe it might be too difficult for me. I might not enjoy it, kind of thing, because it's just doing something new. What it is essentially is your movements are kind of based on rhythm, and you have to sort of, when you're in like an action sequence, when there's enemies on the board, you have to move. You move in like square patterns, and you have to move in rhythm with the music and attack in rhythm with the music and stuff like that. And all the enemies do as well. And it's learning their movement patterns and things like that. There is a mode where you can. Cause I found it a bit confusing at first because I was treating it like Lara Croft Go, where you don't move with the music, but you move and everybody else moves at the same time as you. And if you're not moving, they're not moving, but say you move a square, everybody else moves a square, like a board game kind of thing. But there is a setting where you can play it like that, which is kind of cool. It's like covering all bases. So yeah, I didn't know if I'd enjoy Cadence of Hyrule. Turns out I really enjoyed it, actually. Really super enjoyed it, especially when I'd sort of got some heart pieces and my health was higher and stuff like that. And because I think I died like 9 times in the first hour of play, but from sort of like the 7 hours after that it took me to finish the game, I died like another like 10 times maybe in that whole 7 hours. So yeah, another sort of roguelite game as well, which is cool. I went into that not knowing if I was going to enjoy it or not, and I think possibly it might be my second favourite Zelda game now after Breath of the Wild. It really took me, showing that I don't really like traditional Zelda games as well. It's made me really want to get the original Crypt of the Necrodancer as well, which is less expensive, so I'm not in a massive rush to get that. But and I've also got more options because I don't have to get it on the Switch. I can get it on the PS4, which is cheaper than the Switch version. Be nice to have them both on the shelf together, but because that's called Cadence of Hyrule and that's the other one's Crypt of the Necrodancer, they might not be on the shelf together. I'm just trying to have a look. No, because we're going to have like Caravan Sandwich, Celeste, a couple of games sort of in the middle of those games, so they're not going to be together on the shelf anyway, because I'm a sucker for alphabetising my games. Rambling a bit, aren't I? I'm always rambling. Sorry. After that, I can't show this because I no longer own it. But you might have seen my Instagram post. If not, here's a picture of it right now. After I picked up those games, I stumbled across an Instagram post by Jordan Wild Game Hunting about a game called Albatross, and it's basically a hiking game, and you just hiking, and it's what they call it, a hiking RPG, and you play as you start off with just one girl, and then you sort of make friends, and more people come into your party, and it's like as you level up, you get better at climbing, you get better at sort of managing your hunger and stuff like that, and it sounded like really up my street, just a nice cozy kind of, not like almost like a walking sim, but there's also driving sections which play really nice and actually kind of reminded me of the game Lake, actually, which is another game that I absolutely love. And it just sounded so far up my street that I had to buy a copy. So I found it on Amazon. It was 30 quid, and I was like, ah. But I opted for the Xbox version because it was slightly cheaper. I think the PS5 version was 32 quid. The Xbox version was slightly cheaper at just under 30. I thought, screw it, we're on holiday, I'll buy it anyway. So I did, and yeah, I was playing it. It's obvious that it's buggy and stuff like that, but It turns out on the Xbox version at least there is one particular game breaking bug which happens apparently 100% of the time in the game. Although I have seen people who've reviewed it and claim to have finished the game on Xbox, but this apparently happens every time. It happened to me twice because I stopped playing and restarted the game, and it happened to me the second time through as well. A couple of hours into the game, again, you're in a cutscene and the game just kicks you out of the cutscene, and then you can't do anything, you're just frozen. So this happened both times I played through it, and I was like, maybe they'll patch it out, maybe they will. And then I noticed a comment on the Xbox Marketplace, if they still call it Marketplace, the store, a comment on this game from somebody in January of this year, claiming, bear in mind we're in September now, just about to cross over to October, saying this was happening to them, avoid this game until it gets sorted out, and it's been nearly 10 months and it's not been sorted out, so I don't think it ever will. So I made the executive decision to send it back to Amazon, which was really easy actually. I didn't even have to package it up, I just told them I wanted to send it back. They were like, do you want store credit, which will take a couple of days, or do you want it credited back to your card, which will take 5 to 7 weeks? So I was like, okay, I'll take store credit, thank you very much. And you just literally take it to the post office, scan a QR code and leave it with them, and they package it up and send it off and everything. It's just so easy. And before I'd even got home from the post office, my money was on my account. So yeah, I got my money back for that. I was intending to swap it out for the PS5 version, but I read that the PS5 version, I found a website and I really wish I made a note of it because it seemed very helpful, but I didn't. But it was a website that basically tells you a list of everything that's wrong with games, all the bugs that people have found, and there was an absolute list as long as your arm for the PS5 version of Albatross as well. So what I've done is, at one point when I was trying to find a way through the massive game breaking bug, I watched a bit of an online walkthrough on YouTube, and their version of the game looked so much better than the one I had. Like, I was in a cottage, and in mine it was just a cottage. On theirs there were like vines hanging from the ceiling and stuff, and it was all like overgrown and mossy and things like that. Turns out that's the Steam version, and the Steam version is the only one that gets properly looked after because the developers of the game intended it to just be a PC game, and I think it's Sodesco have taken it and ported it to the other systems, and they don't particularly look after the games after they've ported them to things, apparently. I've heard a lot about sort of bugged achievements and trophies on Sodesco games, and they never bothered to patch those, so well, I don't think they're ever going to patch that game. I think they've just shipped it, it's broken, whatever. So I've added it to my Steam wishlist, and I'm going to rebuy it on Steam at some point, probably when it goes on sale, because I was really enjoying it, and I was really looking forward to carrying on playing it. Although I've got my ROG Ally, I'm still wary of buying like AAA games. That's not even a AAA game, but basically anything that might tax it too much. But I think I'll be alright with that. It played Jusant fine. I kind of feel a Jusant to it, actually. I think that's probably why I'm so interested in playing through it. But yeah, I got my money back for that. So I went on another Amazon spree, and I had to put a little bit of my own cash to this, but I managed to pick up for the money I got back from them. This one was like, I think it was $7.99. It's a game I already have on the Switch, but because I wanted my Turtles games on the Xbox, didn't I? I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wrath of the Mutants. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Wrath of the Mutants, which is a port of an arcade game that was out again about the Nickelodeon Turtles game series. Again, not supposed to be great. I already have it on Switch, but the Switch version I have is a code in a box, so this one is a bona fide on disc. So, for all you code in a box haters, I do actually own it physically now. This one was, I think it was £12. And it's a remake of a PS1 game which I used to think was great, but I can't remember if it actually was good or not. That's Little Big Adventure, Twinson's Quest. I believe it's a remake anyway, not like a sort of sequel. Yeah, a remake of one of the most iconic games of the 90s. I remember loving this on the PS1. I think I only had a demo of it, but it was really good. And, it's sort of like in that kind of Abe's Odyssey kind of mould, Heart of Darkness, that kind of thing, where it didn't really take off because people were mostly into shooting stuff and killing things back then. But like adventure games, there was a lot of good adventure games back then, but they kind of got overlooked a little bit. It comes in this plastic sleeve, and inside that, you might have noticed from the pic, from when I held it up, there's like this. They never look good on camera, but it's like a lenticular art card for the cover. And then nothing particularly inside, no inside box art. I think it was Blacksad did the same thing with the lenticular cover, and that was also a Microids game, which is, this one's a Microids game as well. And I think they had the plastic sleeve as well. No, Blacksad had a cardboard sleeve with a kind of window box in the front so you can see the lenticular. It was Double Kick Heroes had the plastic one. It felt like it was a weird one to remake, but I've had my eye on it since it did come out. And yeah, cool to have that. It's not a steelbook unlike the Blacksad one though, which is a shame. And lastly, I picked up for, again, I think it was about 12 quid, so I think this was 15 quid, so I put about 3-4 quid of my own money towards these. It's another Fox and Up, Spirit of the North, enhanced edition on the PS5. I've been looking at this for a while. I don't know why, but foxes have captured my imagination lately. I played, probably, I don't know if it was in the last one or the one before, I got Endling. Actually, can see if I can grab it quickly off my shelf, but I don't think I can. What's it called? Endling Extinction is Forever. It was a sort of Metroidvania kind of Fox game, and that was so sad and harrowing that I got the good ending on it. I finished it, got the good ending, and it was still so depressing. So I'm hoping this is a bit more upbeat. Looks a bit more sort of like 3D, sort of adventure-y kind of platformy kind of thing this time, but yeah, people seem to say that, you know, I inquired about it a while back and people seem to think that it's not a bad game, so yeah, it's interested me and I've picked it up. For some reason the PS5 version was the cheapest one. Obviously the Switch version, apart from there was a code in box version of it, which was cheaper, but I thought the Switch version, in fact I think I looked it up and the Switch version doesn't perform as well, so yeah. I opted for the PS5 one because the PS4 one was more expensive. And the Switch one was more expensive on cartridge, despite the issues. Again, I hope it's good. I don't normally talk about digital games I buy because there's nothing to show for it, and I know a lot of people aren't into digital games, but I also picked up Baby Steps on the PS5, which it's a game that I loved and hated at the same time. I say hated because I've retired it now. I didn't finish it. I got fairly close. I think there's 5 chapters and I got to the end of the 4th one, but it just got to the point where I don't think in my sort of skill set will allow me to get any further. But it is an incredible game and I think everyone should play it. Essentially you play as what they call a fail son, which I'm taking that actually. I like that phrase, fail son. Basically it's just a guy that lives in his basement, in his mum's basement, eating pizza on his bong, watching anime all day in his onesie and doesn't do anything. And then suddenly he's like transported to this like mysterious place and he's got to climb a mountain. Well, he hasn't got to climb a mountain, but there's nothing to do and there's a mountain there, so he just sets off towards it. It's funny, there's like cutscenes that pop up with different characters, mostly Australian or New Zealand or something like that. But these like sort of sound quite improvised, these cutscenes, and yeah, they are quite hilarious. Just the stuff that people say. It's hilarious. The whole way you play the game, I've completely skirted over that, is the fact that you control each leg individually with the analog stick and the shoulder buttons. I've got a PlayStation controller knocking about, so it's like, the shoulder buttons, like the R2 will sort of raise your right leg and then you use the analog stick to position it and then let go to drop it, and then same with the left leg in L2. And those are pretty much the only controls in the game. Once you get like a decent rhythm, you can sort of hold forwards and then just alternate between the sort of analog, the shoulder buttons, and you can get a decent rhythm with walking. But There's different terrain types. There's obstacles like planks, you know, like really thin plank bridges over waterfalls and stuff. There's so much stuff, especially in the early parts of the game, where you can like just fall and it'll take you right back to the start of the game again. It's a really good game and it's really well thought out and well made, but it's so hard, and I'm kind of glad I didn't know how hard it was before I bought it, because I wouldn't have played it in the first place. And although I couldn't finish it, I'm glad I did play it, and I think it's included on PlayStation Plus, so I think everyone should have a go at this, because it's just not anything like you've played before, really. My main issue with it is at first when you fall in, it's funny, and you just pick yourself up and have another go. But I've got to the point late in the game where when you fail at something, you will fall a long way, and then it takes you 15 minutes to get back to where you were again for you to fail again and fall down. And I just don't have the time in my life to be redoing like 15-minute sections of a game over and over again. If there was like a rewind function, I mean, even if they could patch this in, if there was like a rewind function or a save state function where you can save it just before you do something, I would be so happy with that. Even if it like logged off trophies or something. I mean, I got this far through the game and I've only got one trophy anyway, so yeah. That's baby steps, and I think people should try it if you have PlayStation Plus. It's well worth it. just expect it to be difficult. I've read on Reddit, I've read posts from people like Dark Souls enthusiasts who've tapped out on this game because they can't do it. I think the difference is with Dark Souls, at least, I mean, I'm not a Dark Souls player, so this might be completely wrong, but I feel like when you're playing those, you can sort of memorise patterns, and it's all about knowing what things are going to do before they happen, so you can sort of dodge attacks and stuff like that. So you can just memorise it and do it all by muscle memory, really. With baby steps, it's all physics based, and sometimes the physics can do stupid stuff. So there's no way of knowing what's going to happen, really. You can't just get good at the game. Well, you can get good at the game, but you can't sort of perfect the game like you can with Dark Souls. It can still throw you a curveball every so often. So yeah, it's been a bit of a rambler, hasn't it? And I apologise for that, even though it's only a shorter video than I'm used to doing these days. Those are my pickups for the last couple of weeks, and yeah, not a stinker in the bunch, although there probably is, and it's probably turtles flavoured. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do, stick around. If you don't like what I do, then that's your prerogative, and that's fine. And I hope to see you soon.